My friends, welcome back to another very important video. My name is Silver Slayer. I post silver videos every single day of the week. So make sure you subscribe and definitely click the bell so you immediately get notified anytime anything important happens around the world. I'm basically a news channel at this point since everything affects the price of silver. For example, US warships and commercial ships getting attacked in the Red Sea the other day and how that affected the price of silver so dramatically. Also wanted to let you all know real quick that I have some very good silver deals and gold deals for you guys and gals. For example, junk silver, 90% silver, only $3 over spot. That is insane. And we have the Slayer special. Only my audience can get Eagles for $4.99 over spot, 100 ounce minimum, and some other stuff as well. So buy.slayer@gmail.com. Right now, silver looks like a bargain. And I couldn't agree more with this. That's the thing. Let me stop right here. When you're looking to invest into something, wouldn't you want to invest into something that's undervalued, not overvalued? A lot of people say, oh, silver's so cheap. Exactly. That's why it's a great investment. You're getting in before the curve. Most people invest once it's already exploding in price. That's not when to invest. That means you missed the boat. Most people will buy silver once it's already in triple digits, thinking, oh, they're so smart because they're getting in to silver and it's going up. No, that's too late. The smart people get in before it takes off. Everyone seems to think they're so clever. Once they see, they have to physically see, they have to have that confirmation, that validation that it is going up, when true smart investors get in before it goes up. We see the opportunity beforehand. We don't need validation or confirmation. We already know silver is going to go up. See, that's the difference between a true stacker and someone that just hops on the bandwagon. And the funniest part is those people that buy at triple digits will probably sell within a few months, maybe a year after that overbought territory, that rally that's going on dies down. And then they think, oh, my investment's in the red. I made a mistake. I'm going to sell to back to Bitcoin or whatever. And bada boom, you'll lose money. Right? That's why videos like this are so important, because once you understand silver's true value, you'll understand the dollar's true value, and you'll understand why silver and the dollar and fiat are completely opposite. You're not looking at silver's value in dollar terms anymore once you watch a video like this. So make sure you like these types of videos and share them to friends and family, and comment and watch all the way through, because engagement definitely helps push the YouTube algorithm, like audience retention. So if you watch all the way through, like the video and comment and share, that really does help. And I try to help people know about this stuff. So let's look at this. At the current price, silver is a real bargain. Gold went on a run late last week, setting an all-time record high last Friday, breaking the $2,100 level for a brief time in overseas trading Sunday night. Right? We saw, man, Sunday night was insane, by the way. If you guys didn't know, silver shot up insanely fast within a few hours and then dropped down nearly $2 within like the next. It was insanity. But we also know some of the context now with warships getting attacked and commercial ships in the Red Sea, and then a little bit of the fundamentals with. There's just a lot going on. Watch my previous videos if you want up to speed on that. But anyways, in fact, silver looks significantly underpriced based on both its historical relationship with gold and the supply-demand dynamics. I'm glad they go into the gold to silver ratio. That's a great way to determine whether gold's the better purchase at that point in time or silver is. The gold to silver ratio is currently over 81 to 1. That means it takes 81 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. To put the correct ratio into perspective, the modern era, the gold to silver ratio is averaged between 40 to 1, 60 to 1. Now, I know a lot about the gold to silver ratio, and I've dug a lot deeper and a lot farther into the history of this thing than most have, than most are willing to or have the patience to. For example, back in biblical ancient times, the gold to silver ratio was 2.5 to 1. Nobody talks about this. It was 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. And even before that, it was 1 to 1. You want to know why? Because back then, they thought silver was magical. They thought silver was literally magic. Why? Because silver purifies water. It has antimicrobial properties. It can purify water. That's why it's used in the medical world so much. And you put silver in milk, it keeps the milk fresh longer. Silver responds to other elements like no other metal. They thought it was this magical thing, and even more so than gold, right? Gold was more for like royalty. And then it was 2.5 to 1, right? Like I said, 2.5 part silver, 1 part gold. And then it got to 8 to 1 because that's around the ratio it comes out of the Earth's crust, still to this day. And then in around a couple thousand years, until I'm going to tell you the exact time everything changed, thousands of years, it was 16 to 1. Right, 16 to 1, thousands of years. Most people, that's what they'll tell you historically it was. Maybe some, if they do some research, they'll say 8 to 1. And I know Peter Schiff knows what he's talking about, so he does go a little backdating. But then something happened. In 1933, remember, it was 16 to 1 all the way up to 1933, FDR gets in office, changes the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1 overnight, single-handedly devaluing silver. And ever since that man-made manipulation happened, it never really corrected. I mean, there's been a few times, obviously, like in 2011, 1980, when this gold to silver ratio was 125 to 1, and in 2020, when silver was $11 and gold is breaking record all-time highs. But 125 to 1 back then. We'll never see that high of a ratio again. When that was happening, I was telling people, we're witnessing history. We'll be reading about this in history books, that the gold to silver ratio was 125 to 1. That is insane. But anyways, that's a little history lesson. I could go deeper into it because silver's a byproduct and how silver's thrown away. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just saying the gold to silver ratio is a great tool. You could actually, to even take it a step further, you can use the gold to silver ratio to earn free silver or free gold without spending a single penny. How? Check this out. Let's say you go to your local coin shop. Okay, we'll say you have 90 ounces of silver. You go into your local coin shop, you have 90 ounces, and you trade it for an ounce of gold because the gold to silver ratio is 90 to 1. So now you have an ounce of gold because you trade in those 90 ounces. Then let's say the gold to silver ratio goes up to 100 to 1. Well, in like a year. So a year later, you can go back into that local coin shop, hand them the ounce of gold you had, and get 100 ounces of silver. So in a year, you had 90 ounces of silver. You walked in there, you got an ounce of gold, and a year later, you trade it back and have 100 ounces. So you made 10 ounces of silver with literally not spending a single penny out of your pocket. You see how you can trade the gold to silver ratio to earn free silver or free gold without spending any money? Pretty cool stuff. Which some people do that, but it's very difficult because, one, you have to be patient. You have to know when the markets are topping or bottoming, and you have to use Bullion because of premiums. Things can get messy. But yeah, so historically, the ratio has always returned to that mean, and when it does with a vengeance. The ratio fell 30 to 1 in 2011 and below 21 in 1980. Like I just mentioned, 1980, 2011, things get a little wonky, but when the spread gets the wide, silver doesn't just outperform gold, it goes on a massive run in a short term. It's a more exaggerated version of gold. I call it gold on steroids. Since January 2000, this has happened 4 times, and this chart below shows the snapback is swift and strong. Yeah, when I tell people that silver is gold on steroids, there's 2 meanings for that. Most people say that without knowing the second meaning, because I feel like I was the one that came up with this. I mean, I'm sure other people have, like, they were like, oh, I saw a Slayer video, but I came up with this a long time ago. But there's another reason why I say steroids. A lot of people just saying, oh, gold on steroids because silver's stronger. Steroids has side effects. Higher highs, yes, but also lower lows. There's negative side effects to using steroids. Silver will go up 10% if gold goes up 5%, but also works for the opposite. If gold goes down 5%, silver's going to go down 10, 15%. So it's riskier. See what I'm saying? That's why I use that word specifically. So here's some historical perspective. Geologists estimate there are approximately 19 ounces of silver for every ounce of gold in the Earth's crust. The ratio approximately 11 ounces to each ounce of gold that has ever been mined. Interestingly, the gold to silver ratio in ancient Egypt was 1 to 1. Oh, wow, so he does know. Okay, and by the way, it comes out of the Earth's crust around 7 or 8 to 1, but he's talking about over throughout history. Remember, miners don't really look for silver whatsoever. It's a byproduct. That means it's found by accident. When they're looking for like gold, lead, and zinc, that's where they'll find their silver. Like, okay, we'll take it. We're not looking for it. And there is very few silver mines, like focal silver mines. They, and especially nowadays, everything's getting protested. Mining is so. 1792, gold to silver ratio is fixed by law in the United States, 15-1. France mandated a ratio of 15-1 in 1803. Faced with challenges of bimetallic monetary system with fixed exchange rates aftermath of the worldwide financial crisis, U.S. Congress passed Coinage Act of 1873 following the lead of the Western nations, including England, Portugal, Canada, and Germany. This act formally demonetized silver and established a gold standard for the United States. With silver playing a smaller role as a monetary metal, the gold to silver ratio gradually spread. Since the world went to a total fiat system, there seems to be some correlation between the gold to silver ratio and central bank money creation, of course. During periods of central bank money printing, the gap tends to shrink. For instance, it plummeted in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis as the Fed engaged in extreme monetary policy. Little insight about that 2008 financial crisis. We could compare a lot of similarities to 2020. So what do I mean by that is 2008 to 2011 pushed silver to $50, right? Everything hit the fan in 2008. 3 years later, during that time, $1 billion stimulus, financial crisis, recession/depression. 3 years later, $50 silver, right? Took 3 years. Nowadays, 2020, credit financial crisis, just like then. Recession/depression, just like then, except $1 trillion stimulus instead of billion. Trillion is a much bigger number than $1 billion, by the way. I don't even know if the human mind can fathom how much bigger. But we had $1 trillion stimulus nowadays, whereas back then it was $1 billion stimulus. We also have a global pandemic and 2 wars going on. So if that led silver to $50 back then in 3 years, what could that push silver to today with things so much more extreme? Who knows? It's been 3 years since then, but we also have a lot of other things happening and looking even more bullish for silver, like the 2024 presidential election and all this other stuff. Like the BRICS nations, de-dollarization, the petrodollar, the oil. We could go into the digital currency backed by physical commodities, the denomination of the USD as a world reserve currency, the Belt Road Initiative. There's a lot. So that's all pushing silver to very bullish levels, plus record-breaking supply deficits, all these other countries stockpiling silver. And gold, by the way. It's a lot. So when I say and other stuff, there's a lot of other stuff. So yeah. In recent podcasts, Peter Schiff noted that while gold set a record, silver is far from below its record of just under $50 an ounce. I think silver is particularly a good buy right now because gold is at a record high and silver would have to double to its record high. It tells me silver is very cheap. Exactly. It has to catch up. It always does. It might lag a little longer, but it always does. And when it does, it's usually even bigger than gold. So supply and demand. The price of silver also fails to reflect the current supply and demand dynamics. According to recent forecasts by Oxford Economics, silver demand is expected to nearly double over the next 10 years. So demand is expected to double in the next 10 years, but we're already setting record-breaking supply deficits, and we cannot meet the demand already by hundreds of millions of ounces. So if demand is expected to double in 10 years, that means this year was 1.21 billion ounces was the demand. So that means it's 2.3 maybe? 2.3 billion ounces, when the production is around 850 million ounces annually on a good year. Wow, that is very bad. Plus, the silver gets thrown away, never to be recycled. So it's not like that silver staying in circulation. That is very, very scary Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. And it's scary because of the reasons we need silver. It's great for us. We'll make a pretty penny, but at what cost? Use of silver and solar energy in EVs will drive industrial offtake. Also, solar manufacturers will require 20% of the annual supply by 2027. By 2050, almost all of the current global silver reserves. That is insane. And look at this. Silver demand set records in every category in 2022. Meanwhile, supply was dropping down to 822 million ounces. Remember I said 850 million ounces on a good year? Supply is 822 million, where we're seeing demand could be over 2 billion in the next 10 years because it was 1.21 billion. That is crazy. 237.7 million ounce deficit. Hundreds of millions of ounces in the red. And to catch up with that, we're going to have to pull another year ahead, which is going to be even worse. So, yeah, it's 237 million, but the time it would take to make up that will be another 237 million in the red again. So it's not possible, especially trying to go green. So, yeah, the price does not reflect future demand or growing supply. It's important to keep that in mind. While silver is an industrial metal, more fundamentally, it is money. Despite being more valid in the short term, silver tends to track with gold over time. It has outperformed gold in the bull market. So, it's not rocket science. Silver is easily the most, it makes the most sense. I think it has the most opportunity. I think it's the safest. I think it's by far the smartest. And it's real money. It's God's money. 1 + 1 doesn't have to equal 3. It's not rocket science. You could try to make it rocket science by saying, oh, well, silver did this in the last 30 years, and this stock can do this with this. No, stop. Just buy silver, the physical metal, and hold it. That's all. Bada bing, bada boom. That's all you got to do. And who knows what it could be, given these statistics. Because people try to say, oh, well, silver has done this and done that, but you're not looking at what it's going to do. We've never seen hundreds of millions of ounces in the red. We never have been going green before, where we need nearly double the supply, or double the demand could double in the next 10 years. We've never been in a situation like that. So anyone who's trying to say, oh, silver historically has done this and that, they're not looking at the bigger picture. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Remember, buy.slayer@gmail.com if you want some deals. I got you guys. I'll hook you up. And I'll make sure you're in good hands. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I love you all. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.